And so you get to make the decision and feel the fear and the accomplishment of it.
Mm-hmm. And you will realize that your car is a naval vessel.
And you are a
sovereign citizen.
Yeah. I'm starting to think the frequencies every day.
Yeah,
10 minutes ago, actually.
how often do you do LSD or some form of hallucinogen now? Like fairly often?
Well, I microdose.
Okay.
Like 0.6 grams to 1.2.
Do you build
grams.
a tolerance to this stuff? I microdose 0.2.
And how does that do for you?
So usually it is a like break glass in case of emergency, right? I'm cranky without a good reason. I am just kind of being an asshole today, and I could see it. I could see that like whatever spurred on my reaction wasn't appropriate for that. You know, like some little thing is happening, and I'm more upset than I ought to be. And it's like, and this doesn't happen very often. I'm talking every 3 months. I haven't microdosed in a long time. But it's like, okay, this is on me. I just woke up an asshole for some reason. So let's do a microdose and see if I can't be a better me. A little maintenance.
Yeah. A better you according to who?
According to anyone that has to live with me, right? but me too, right? Like I don't know, if we're all just a bag of chemicals and I'm filled with grumpy for some reason, let's fucking throw some grump bleach in me. And
yeah, I know the exact feeling you're talking about. Like I've been putting together like a piece of gym equipment or something before, and someone just comes and asks me a question, and I can feel myself wanting to be mean to them. It's like, I want to hurt your feelings just so you'll leave me the fuck alone. And I'm like, whoa, don't do that. right there. God, I'm an asshole.
I need to do drugs.
Don't you look down your nose at me, Taylor. I know your hobbies.
No, you just get so
we can't
high
all cut ourselves like you.
But
once every 30 years on the corner of a workout equipment box.
But yeah, that's it. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gluing PVC together, then it dripped, and I'm 9 out of 10 upset over a 3 out of 10 problem.
Yeah.
So
see, Woody, I'm sorry, man. I can't agree with you.
Okay.
Because I think what you just the story you just told exemplifies exactly what I'm saying. Is you're creating a split within yourself that don't make no sense. You just said I have a 9 out of 10 response to a 3 out of 10 problem. Well, that can't be true. Because clearly it's a 9 out of 10 problem to you. And if it wasn't, then you wouldn't be responding 9 out of 10. What's the real issue is, hey man, I don't like the fact that other people think this is a 3 out of 10. Well, that's the difference. What I'm really concerned about is, hey, look, people don't like the fact that this makes this much difference to me. Well, that's a different issue. If you need to change yourself in order to like conform to the 3 out of 10 standard, that's gonna be real tough.
But I feel like normal me is able to keep things in perspective and respond to small problems appropriately and big problems appropriately. I pride myself on like those moments where something really bad happens. You know, maybe your son chops his foot with an axe, for example. Mm-hmm. And I'm the guy you want around who can handle this coolly and make good decisions and you know, get you to the right people.
I think that's a different thing.
But I think you might be right, but maybe
both things. But that's a different thing. I like that thing too. I think you want me around.
Okay, yeah. So I take a great pride in that part of me. I'm you know, Jackie would sing my praises in this regard. Every time anything really hits the fan, I'm calm and I'm making good decisions. But I won't say I'm always calm and making good decisions. And if I feel like my mood needs a little maintenance, that it's time to change the oil. That's when I think a microdose works for me.
I think I'm really good when there's a situation that's like when someone's blowing something out of proportion. When their 3 out of 10 problem is but a 10 out of 10 for them. Maybe just being like, hey, let's put this in perspective and we can solve this thing. But I'm also like okay at when there is like a 9 or 10 out of 10 problem, being like, Well, let's just focus. What do we do first? What do we do first? Let's put our clothes on.
I've been waiting to ask this. It's about your initial LSD experience where you went from grieving to, I guess, the next stage and getting better. You with me? Yeah. Okay. So I've done ketamine, and while I was on ketamine, all my thoughts and ideas were free from like self-doubt, self-reflection in a way, and second guessing. Every idea and thought I had was a good one to me. It normal me, not on ketamine. You suggest a business idea, even if it's a good one, I can tell you 7 reasons why it won't work out. And they're all legit, but they might be conquerable. You tell me on ketamine that, like, you know what, this is the way forward. And there's nothing about me that thinks good ideas are bad. Did you have a similar experience as you were trying to get past your grieving and guilt? What was the high like? Like, what? Because there were hours where you were. There's an in between. There's a grieving, thinking about taking the Robin Williams way out, as you described it, and then there's the oh my, life goes on. I can achieve a happier state.
It wasn't.
What was the middle?
It wasn't like that. It wasn't like that at all.
Okay.
It's completely different. This is why we're having a difficulty here in this communication, is because what I'm trying to suggest is, like, it wasn't a graduated, like I didn't come from this level and go to a graduated up and filled up and now I'm complete. It was a completely different experience of that, of life. A
completely different experience of life. Okay. So it almost sounds like it wasn't something you thought or dreamed or did during the high, but for some reason you came out of it reset. Maybe?
When I was on this trip, it was like several hours of seeing the world as if everything were harmonious. And regardless of the pain or the difficulty of any particular thing, everything just fit exactly the way that it was supposed to. And I fit as if I were a piece of fabric in this ever-changing pattern, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Now, everything that I'm saying is just a metaphor, right? It's just poetry trying to explain the inexplicable, trying to explain what is really beyond words.
Yeah, because it's you're trying to explain the sensation of a psychedelic drug. Like, it's going to be different for you and your feelings and the ability to articulate it than someone else. So different for everyone, I would guess. Like it's the same way that like unless like the same like reason that you talk to people about hallucinogens or whatever, and it's about like, what did you learn? It's always so similar of like this vagary of I fit in, it's so secure and this, and it was just so right. And it's like, that sounds like everybody else because it's, they don't have the words, I guess, to articulate it. And that's why the good hallucinating stories are always like, I saw a dragon and there's like a narrative structure, because then people can kind of carry along with it. Oh, that makes sense to me. Oh, you saw a leaf turn into a scary bug and it flew away. Whereas, yeah, everything just kind of gelled, man. Doesn't really fit unless I guess you have the requisite experience of LSD. And even then, Kyle has never had that. And some of my other friends who've done it haven't. And so that kind of plays into what Woody's been saying, where it really does have to do with the setting of it and your mindset going in. Where if you're trying to be silly and have a fun time and watch movies, that's what you're going to get more likely than not. If you are going into it because you're traumatized from a horrible life event, then you're probably going to fixate on that. And that is going to be the driving force of it. And that's what I assume. I don't do hallucinogens. I did a small amount of mushrooms in college, but not even enough to like.
Do you know your
even
dose?
get a real experience. I have no idea. My roommate gave me
dosed it
some
out
off
for
of
you.
his desk. It was all
As far
chopped
as-
up.
As far as like the way I experienced it, it felt to me like if I'd went in with the idea that I was going to focus on a thing, then that would have been the focus. And I felt like I could change gears at any time while I was high and start thinking about things. And I could have gone to some dark place that was like scary or mean or maybe not healthy. I don't know. Maybe it would have been healthy to go there and like destroy my what do they talk about? Ego, yeah, like ego death or whatever. I'll hang on to my ego. I like it enough.
Yeah.
He's a cool guy. But I really just wanted Fantasia to be cool and wanted that camaraderie with my buddies. And man, food tasted good. Man, that was the best donut I've ever had in my fucking life. And to be fair, it was a real good donut, but still, it was transcendent.
I always hear the stereotype that like eating on acid is like a negative.
People talk about the maceration, just the munching of food in your mouth being disgusting to them. I heard someone tell me that. Mastication. No. What did I said? Maceration.
You're close. We
were going to let you slide. It's okay.
At least I said masturbation.
Everyone.
Yeah. But I didn't,
halfway.
But I didn't have that experience at all. I just found that donut to be delectable. Just the most wonderful
See, I was working when I listened to Michael's story at the start, I was almost envious because like when I was working out issues, I didn't have a good reason. I feel like there was almost like look, I'm bummed. What's your big problem, Woody? Well, like it's winter and I don't deserve to be down is how I felt.
That's right. That's right.
And you, on the other hand, earned it. So but me?
But it's the same thing. It's that same feeling of guilt. And because at the root, it's this spiritual issue, dude. Doesn't have anything to do with circumstances.
Well, yeah, I was with you till the end. Like it just, in your case, I think the circumstances.
Look, I mean, it's going to change. There. But dude, we both felt the same gnawing, though. Mine was more acute, but yours is.
Yeah, I feel like I'm stealing valor to just agree with that.
Right.
I don't deserve that.
What do you mean?
Like to compare his pain or his discomfort to yours?
I'm not comparing.
He is. For him, yours is what he's saying. He feels like he's
but why compare? We're just saying that this is a gnawing that we look. This isn't a competition. We're both human, man. We're both like. Just because you didn't have a traumatic experience doesn't mean that you don't feel this gnawing. Is what I'm saying, man.
Yeah. But I do struggle with thinking. But I don't deserve to feel this.
But see, that's the thing. But see, that's the thing that that's the very gnawing. Is this feeling of guilt that you ought to not do something that you are doing? It's no different. Don't fixate on the circumstance. Don't forget. Don't think about this tragedy. Focus on the fact that we're both human and this thing that, hey, something ain't right.
And there's unqualified scientist in me that's like, oh, do you feel bad? Well, that just means your serotonin uptake inhibitors your serotonin uptake receptors are working too hard, and now you've got no serotonin in you, and you need that
theory was made up.
Yeah, that didn't turn out to be real.
Unqualified scientist. I prefaced it.
Whoa, Michael, are you saying SSRIs are wildly overprescribed with a lot of negative side effects? That's crazy.
I would never say such a thing.
No, I don't think there's mountains of evidence for that. I don't think there's absolute mountains of evidence that people are.
I know I'm out of my depth, but because I just know people that they've helped, but that doesn't mean they're not overprescribed. Also, but yeah. So this is one of the things that I struggled with was feeling like I didn't deserve to be struggling in the first place, and then that just now I have two problems, and then it's recursive to where I have infinite problems.
Of course,
Yeah, I totally get that.
The problem is begun with the question. You're the one that brings the problem with the assumption.
I do that. Yeah. But then the ketamine itself was So,
dude, here's the thing.
Go ahead.
And this is, look, there's a certain reluctance. Gosh, this is going to be hard to take. And I don't know if this is the right audience to tell you, but I'm just going to tell you anyway, and you can make what you will of it. There's a certain reluctance that human beings have of the narcissism that is natural to being an individual. Not, I'm better than you, but I'm an individual and I don't need to agree with you on everything. It's real hard for people, especially in this competitive society, real hard for a person to figure out how to be a person in the midst of a society. It's tough. And people feel ashamed or embarrassed. And I just don't think they don't need to. I think that's a unnecessary ill of this unspoken expectation of conformity, and people don't want to do it. People don't want to. They want to be themselves and not be ashamed of it.
Well, that's true, but there are some things like behaviorally, like if you're eating like shit all the time, like you should feel bad about that. If you're like, because it's unhealthy and it's gonna.
But who says that you have to be healthy? If somebody wants to eat like shit for a while, why shouldn't they?
Because it's a feedback loop of negativity. Like you mess up your hormones when you get fat, and then that makes you want to go into food more, and then that becomes a source of comfort. And it's kind of like the longer you stay in the hot tub and that comfort, the harder it is to get out. Getting fat is wonderful, my friend. It's a great time to get fat, but then you get fat and you look at yourself as fat and you go, my God, it's my circumstances that have caused me this via my circumstances acting out in a way that's unhealthy. And so in that way, like you do have to kind of take some
accountability. But I hear that,
accountability.
Taylor, and I'm trying to find like a common ground here. And it's like, so the problem with eating badly isn't that you're getting unhealthy. It's that you're not meeting your goals. If your goal is to be healthy and you're eating badly, then you feel bad about not achieving what you're going for. If your goal is to be fat and ugly and you're eating badly, then you're nailing it.
Dude, I nailed it for a while.
Dude, I just think life carries people through different periods where sometimes you do eat like shit, and that's fine, and you'll get over it. And there's sometimes when you're addicted to beer or addicted to whatever, and you get through it. Like there's this trust, like there's this, it's everything now. And man, dude, that just ain't the way life is. The only thing you can change now is the perspective to recognize that you don't know anything and that everything that we're doing is learning. And if we can do that and be gracious with ourselves and not think that, oh, we do know everything or we ought to be able to do things. If we could do them, we would.
And if you're someone who's motivated like you to do this and share this, that makes sense. Like you clearly have a lot of passion for it. Do you ever see people who maybe take that message negatively and go, almost nihilistically, like, oh, there's nothing, none of this matters. Who cares? I may as well get fat and be stupid. And I'm just a stardust mote of whatever in the end. Because I do know people who go down that road of the, nothing matters at all. Fuck it. And it's like that usually people who believe that aren't very happy.
Well, what is the alternative? To force people to believe something that they are going to just say they believe, even though they don't? What I'm suggesting
it would be to take meaning in those close to you, your friends, your family.
But how can you get other people to
I'm just trying to think of a non-religious thing. Well, you wouldn't have to. If you're in your own community with your friends, your family, people who are like living more communally, people who do that, like even going so far as an example of the Amish, like they're much happier working and focusing on things in their immediate vicinity instead of doom scrolling on Twitter, looking at horseshit nonsense that's just there to upset you.
I always question that poll. Did they ask the women how they were feeling and the kids?
No, nor should they. It's not
only the guys, right?
Only those bearded guys.
Okay.
Yeah. But do you think there's a risk of that some people could take that the wrong way, that, everything's meaningless, who cares?
Yeah, of course. And I felt that way. And if anybody's honest, they felt that way.
Sure.
And so what are we afraid of? Look, I just trust in life that you're going to have some moments where you're like, what the fuck is going on? And is this even worth it? And to act like you don't is just to mislead people. Look, everybody's going to have these moments where you're like, God damn it, I don't know what the fuck is going on. And I don't even know if I'm up for it. Man, it's all right. Look, ain't nothing wrong with you. You ain't done nothing wrong. You ain't got to fix nothing. This is life, man. But there's a lot of people trying to tell people that it ought to be this way when there ain't no fucking way for it to be that way all the time.
So you're coming down on more against there being an idea of a total edict of what is happiness, what you need to do in order to achieve this happiness. You think it should be more subjective with a understanding that it is, because that's what is kind of odd about it to me is like, yeah, it's just like, it's great that nothing matters. Like,
I didn't say nothing matters.
I think if I'm reading Michael's vibe right, it's that he's accepting for where you are, right? And if you're fucking hard driving Jocko Willnick getting up at 4 a.m. every day to do whatever, then fine. That's how you are you. If you're nothing matters, but we're stardust and you're just stuck there for a couple days, a couple months, a couple years, then that's okay too. Everything's okay. I think is the vibe we're getting. There'll be another stage.
Dude, of course, if you're one of those stardust people, yes, you're annoying as fuck, but hey, but yo, you're going to get through it. Yes, you are.
You won't be that guy forever. Trust us.
We're finding common ground.
And nobody wants to hang out with you, but you'll get through it. And if you're the Jocko Willett guy, then dude, we need people like you. We need people like you who are fucking hard charging leaders. And wherever you are, yo, the thing to understand is life is good to you. Look, look, guys, my battery's dying. I don't know where the fuck the laptop computer is, but look, I just wanted to say this is the main thing that is important to say is that our society needs a myth that people can live by. A myth that makes them think of life as more than just a fucking algorithm or a bunch of fucking mathematical equations.
That's true.
Myth that captures our fucking souls and gives us a chest to live from instead of living in a society of people without chests, without souls. And so what I'm suggesting is that we see life as beautiful enough to contain both the beauty and the ugliness. That beauty, that life, that the myth that we see life by, that even if someone makes such a horrendous thing, I'm going to kill the children, that we understand that life is bigger than that threat and that somehow everything's okay. Anyway.
Yeah. That's just not me, man. It's okay. You be you. I'm not mad. But like, for example, in my ketamine trips, I was like, these are the things we're going to work out during this trip. I wrote some pre-questions down in my journal. I thought them through. And then before I lost the answers, I wrote down my answers. And I even look back on them every so often, every couple of weeks, months. I'm like, what did I think at the end? You know what? That was a good point. Because my things were like, hey, I should appreciate my wife because these are her good qualities. This is how she likes to have her bucket filled. This is what my son, his name is Colin. This is, how he likes to have his bucket filled and what we should do with him and my daughter. Those were the things that make my wheel turn. And I feel like you're happier in a more artistic, ambiguous, less defined type place. Like you weren't looking for action items. But action items are what brings me happiness. That's how I get shit done.
Awesome.
So that's the difference between us, I guess.
No, man, I'm sorry. I'm just not communicating well because what I'm saying is there ain't no difference. Is you saw the path to joy for you.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I'm trying to say is like life is the direct experience of joy. Sometimes joy is painful. Sometimes joy is chaotic. Sometimes joy doesn't make any sense. What I'm trying to say is this is the experience of psychedelics puts us into the direct experience of what life is before it's polluted by all of the expectations that we've been taught to have of it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that was the pathway to joy, and the way you just explained it was definitely the easiest to understand what you're putting down of the way you've done it. That makes sense.